Hello, John Talley here with Partzilla.com. Today I'm going to show you how to bleed the brakes on our 2008 Honda CBR600RR. Only need a couple of tools to get this done and some DOT4 brake fluid. Besides that, I'm going to show you two different ways on how to handle it. Well, I'm going to show you the manual way, and then we're going to use this vacuum pump. So let me go grab a couple of things and I'll show you how to get it done. Alright guys, before we get started, let's go over some of the tools you're going to need to get this job done. Really basic on the hand tools, just a Phillips, then a little 90-degree Phillips, an 8mm wrench, a pair of pliers. Other than that, it depends if you're going to go with the vacuum mode or the manual mode. If you're going to go manual, you need a little catch tank and just a length of tubing. My suggestion, go ahead and invest in a Mighty Vac. Those things work great, makes life a lot easier. And that's pretty much it for your tool list. Alright, I've almost got it set up here. Basically, all you really need is, like I said, that 8mm wrench. Then I've got a length of clear tubing going into some type of catch container. What we're going to do is go ahead and pull off the cap on the rear reservoir, because we want to make sure this stays full. The air gets behind here, makes it a little bit more difficult to purge it back out. So let's get that cover off. Alright, how often should you actually bleed your brakes? I'd say about once a year, because brake fluid is actually what they call hygroscopic. That means it attracts water, and it'll actually mix in with it. Beyond that, especially on a high-performance machine like this one, basically the brake fluid is just staying right there, and it's getting heated and cooled, and eventually it's going to break it down. So you want to kind of flush that out, so in essence it gets new fluid down inside of the caliper. Alright, you can tell when brake fluid is actually a little bit aged, because when it's brand new it's almost clear, and when it gets some age on it, it turns it kind of a brown color. That's one of the indicators that, yeah, you need to go ahead and flush out your system. Alright, I'm going to show you how to manually do this. What you want to do is pump it up and hold, and then you release your bleeder valve back here. And when you do, your pedal will go all the way to the bottom. Alright, don't release it yet. You want to close your valve, then release. Pump it back up, open the valve, close it, then release. Pump it back up. Alright, you can start seeing the fluid start to pump out. Now this isn't exactly a fast way how to do it, but it will get it done. Now, what I'm going to show you next is using a vacuum pump. Alright, as you can tell, that's almost the same color as like Coca-Cola. So yeah, this one needed to be bled out. Alright, let's get our little vac system connected. Make sure that you don't run out of fluid up top. Alright, what we're going to do, connect up the air line, go ahead and start the vacuum, and then we're going to open this valve up. And when we do, it's just going to start pulling fluid down. And once it gets down to about right here, I'll close the valve, refill it, and then continue. Alright, vacuum's built up. Let's open it up, and it'll just start pulling the fluid through. Watch how quick this drops up top. Alright, and you just wiped out just about that entire reservoir. We're right at the lower level. So let's refill, and we'll do that about 2 more times, and then we'll set the final level. Alright, now wasn't that a lot easier than pumping and opening and closing the valve? And if you don't own one of these, I recommend that you get one. They're nice to have around. Alright, next we want to set our level. Alright, here's where you need to take into account what kind of shape your brake shoes are in, because It's got an upper and a lower mark, and as long as it's in between those marks, it's fine. But the trick is, if I take it all the way to the upper mark and my pads are worn, okay, it'll work for that, for that instance. But then when I go to replace those pads, I ended up having to compress the piston inside the caliper. When it does that, it forces fluid back up into here, and if you're already at that high mark, you're going to overflow, and it's not going to have enough room to expand. But I happen to know from some previous work that we've got brand new brake shoes on the back of this machine. So guess what? I can take it all the way up to that upper level and not have to worry about that. All right, when you get ready to put your diaphragm in, make sure it's in this level position, because if you were really low on fluid, it'll actually pull it out like this inside the reservoir itself. So make sure it looks like this when you get ready to reinstall it. That in place, your upper plate. All right, to finish tightening these off, use this little 90-degree Phillips. And that'll pretty much wrap up the back. Tell you what, let us reset, get everything moved to the front, and I'll show you how to get those bled next. All right, guys, we've got everything reset. I'm going to show you how to first do it manually on the front brakes. Same kind of setup as before. We've got a little catch container, little hose, 8mm that goes to the bleeder valve on the top of the caliper. The other caliper is going to be just a mirror image of this, so whatever I'm doing over here, you need to make sure you do it over on the other side to complete the bleed. First thing we need to do is go ahead and get this cap off and make sure our reservoir doesn't go, we don't want to run it out. There's actually a little Phillips that holds a bracket that keeps the top pretty much in place. So let's get that removed. Then we can take off the cap. Now, before we release that cap, go ahead and put something down under it, because if you spill any, guess what? Brake fluid and paint, they don't like each other very much. All right, see how that looks kind of deformed? That means it was just trying to suck it down in there. So let's get that back into position. And it is actually already at the high level, so we're good to go. Like I said, it's just like like we did on the back. Pump that up, release your valve, it'll bottom out, then you close. Pump it back up, release your valve, close, then pump back up. And because I don't want to spend too much more time doing it that way, let's go ahead and hook up our vacuum system and get it done quickly. All right, guys, we've got it connected up just like we did on the back. Go ahead and open up the valve, build up some suction. Make sure you got plenty of fluid up top. Then open this up. Only about a quarter turn. And then just keep an eye on your upper reservoir. Alright, that's about as close as I want to push it. Close your bleeder valve, and let's carefully refill our reservoir. Alright, we've got our reservoir refilled. Reopen the valve and just pull it through. Alright, and then close. Alright, what we need to do next is go ahead and, of course, refill our reservoir. Then I'm going to reset over on the other side and go ahead and pull some fluid through on that particular caliper. Alright, guys, we've got everything reset up over on the left side. So let's start our vacuum up again and just open the valve. Alright, close it up and take off our hose. Make sure that's tight. Now all we need to do is set our level. And remember, this is the same type of scenario as we were faced with in the back, but I happen to know that the brake pads are brand new on this one. So we can go ahead and bring it all the way up to that upper mark. Right there, because that's your upper mark. Do that, make sure your diaphragm's in the correct position. Put it on, and then we'll get on this little bracket to the side that keeps the cap in place. Get that Phillips snug back down. All right, guys, that pretty much wraps this little project up. Listen, if you need any of the tools that I use, specifically that little Mighty Vac or that .4 fluid, come see us at partzilla.com and we can get you taken care of. If there was something that I did that you didn't understand or need some clarification on it, just leave it in the comments section below and I'll do my best to answer it. And until next time, we just want to say thanks for watching.